Hello, hello. This is Elwood and me back with RLS career mod Beam.NG. Did a little career and off camera. Not too much. I changed the leaf spring on the back of the car and the paint color. Paint job was expensive. I took a lot of time figuring out the perfect color, perfect sheen, I guess is how you say it. And I think you're going to really be impressed with what I picked. It's the absolute perfect color for the car. Off-white. Not beige off-white. Violet. Ultraviolet off-white. In a matte finish. Yeah. This is what this car is made for. Interior doesn't necessarily match, but none of the other colors had wood trim, so yeah, you can't go downgrading the interior just to match the aesthetics, you know? Also, the chrome trim now fits. I was going to take the chrome off, but it's all good now. Oh, yeah, I made the wheels and tires a little narrower too, but that's not aesthetic. You can't even see that. Check that out. It's perfect. Let's put a little more power into this. Damn forklifts are back on the road again. I took the smart car choice feature off because it was getting boring. That is not what I wanted to happen. Wait. Oh, what the hell's going on with the car values now? This was worth 55 when I logged off, and it was 26. I was going to say we are going to sell the Passat and buy a new car today, but maybe not. I mean, if the car market's down, it's a good time to buy. But the problem with already having something is in order to buy, you're selling. So the market being up and the market being down, it doesn't seem great. I guess if it works on percentages, it's a good time to buy expensive. Good time to sell a cheap car to get an expensive car, and bad time to downsize. Mudbog. Yeah, I recorded a video where I was driving around in the dunes in Johnson Valley. I was like, yeah, sand driving is where it's at. That's what my brain likes. That's what's cool. But this car, we can't mess this paint job up. This has got to be a street car. It's got to stay a street car. We're going to take it to the rally stage anyway, but we're not going to tune it for rally. It makes sense if your mind only works in video game terms. Yeah, we're just browsing what's available for sale, see if anything especially interesting is in here, but new car shopping's not the first order of business. Problem is, I want to upgrade the engine, but I don't want to go dumb with it. And I feel like there's not many upgrades I can do that aren't going to be massive power increases. But yeah, we got to get me into a rear-wheel drive car during this career. Something at least vaguely sporty. Maybe a sports sedan. I think those are more interesting than full-on sports cars. And again, the lines are kind of blurring these days. That's why they're discontinuing a lot of the two-door sports cars. They've got the four doors. The chassis are stiff enough. It's a sports car. It's heavy, but it's what's the word? They've engineered the flex out of it. It's more solid. So a modern four-door is still going to be better than, like, I'd say a mid-2000s sports car. No, I'm totally just making that up based on what I test drive in video games. So don't take that as gospel. Oh, no, AI said it too. Yeah, you definitely, take it as gospel. I asked the AI and it was like, yeah, that's it. You want a $24,000 PT Cruiser, by the way? It's got wood trim on the outside. Don't think it has any inside, though, so it's not worth it. Struggle Dunk. It's an interesting build. A logging minivan. At least they had the decency to get the all-wheel drive. This is just make fun of the cars for sale simulator. Apparently. Alright. We've been avoiding it. I have 7 parts in here. The extra tires and so on. It's fine. We can sell it later. Not worried about that. The vehicle is not considered in the garage right now. That's interesting. That's why the button wasn't there. Sure, doesn't look any different to me, but guess that's how we're playing it today. Yeah. So we got the biggest engine. That came in the car. We can upgrade the block. We could change out the ECU. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's not going to do anything with a manual transmission. And the only thing I can imagine it doing is top speed limiter. But I'm no car expert. Oh, we can upgrade the exhaust. I didn't think we'd be able to do that. I don't know what custom muffler will do. Yeah, you could do nitrous, but that's not what we're trying to do here. Should we look up the drive ratios again? Or should we just leave it alone? Let's not do that right now. Alright. Do we boost the supercharger? Or do we boost the engine? This costs more. This will make a better noise. Let's start with the block. I mean, we can always resell these parts too. It's no big deal. I do wish there was a way to estimate performance prior to purchase. That would be cool. So that's brought it up to 300 from 250. Is that right? Let's do also, if we just upgraded the charger and not the block, it might end up blowing up the engine. So didn't really feel like doing that. So, okay, so we have past results here we can use. Let's assess the performance with the block. Yeah, we're gonna have to actually take this for a test drive to get a feel for it. Perhaps even to this track right here. I like this handling track. It's a good way to safely understeer a car because there's nothing to hit if you go outside the lines. All right. 301, that's a nice even enough number. Lateral G is 0.07. The weight, I think the weight has gone up. 38.47. We're just under 5 seconds here to 60. That's a good number too. What was I at off camera yesterday? I know the weight hasn't changed. 3. So the weight's gone down, actually. I was wrong. 3870 to 3845. We went up just under 50 horsepower. Yeah, we've accomplished what we set out to accomplish. Okay. Reasonable power increase that shouldn't make this thing just stupid to drive. Try this. I did want a little bit of stupid, actually. If the front wheels aren't spinning, then do I really want it? I want a front wheel drive muscle car. Let's drive it before we ruin it. Yeah, that definitely likes to understeer more now. The acceleration steals grip. Got that grip thief energy going on. As well as slow driving forklifts. I am slowly knocking the number of traffic cars on the road back down. And people out there bragging about how their computer can run 16 traffic cars at a time. And I'm here like, 6 cars is too much traffic. You know, it's not so fun to play the game like that. I think we are on 6 right now. We'll check. Let's give you a real number. Yeah, 6. So we were on 8 a couple episodes ago, and I've just been slowly picking it down. There's an angle here where the car is more controllable with higher horsepower because I'm not still trying to get up to speed when I hit the corner. So I'm backing off the throttle and I have more grip for steering rather than being frustrated and just flooring it as I'm going around corners. It's more controllable with my bad driving style. That's the specific detail you need. Did that have a no texture glitch on it? I believe it did. Yeah, so here's a question that I'm going to answer. What inspired me to record some Beam career today? I've been on a YouTube, going down the YouTube rabbit hole of people making bad financial decisions involving cars. You know, getting in debt, overbuying. It's a typical story. It's what? It's intuitive. And that got me thinking. You know, people buying the cars as status symbols. That's nothing. You know, that's no revelation. Don't need to explain the concept. My idea here, though, what's novel, is what is the purpose of a status symbol? People are thinking you need the status symbols to get ahead, right? That's why the cause and effect is reversed. It's not you do well in life, you buy the status symbol as a proof. People thinking you need the status symbol to prove, you know, that you should get the opportunity, you know, the job, the whatever that gets you ahead. And a lot of this, you know, they're picking it up from influencers who need the car to show that they're financially successful so they can sell you, you know, courses or whatever they're selling. You know, the car is a proof of success in order for them to sell something that'll gain them success because they sold the product. It's logical for the influencer to put the car ahead of the horse. Once they've hit a certain level of success, and there's a good assumption that they'll keep growing. You know, it's an amplifier of the channel. But what is the logic for your average person who's not trying to be an influencer, you know? And the logic is that the status symbol shows competence, you know? It's like, you know, here's something I earned. I wouldn't have been able to earn it if I wasn't successful. That you know, they're taking out the loan. Ignore the fact that it doesn't prove anything because you can just take out a loan. The logic is it's a showing of competence in order to try to get a job that requires competence. The assumption that's underlying that is that we live in a meritocracy. You know, that's the thing that's always been promised to us. You know, get the right credentials, get the right experience, you know, hard work, blah, blah, blah. And you're guaranteed, you know, to get jobs, I guess. I was trying to think if there was a grander term than just a job, but it's simple enough to focus on. We don't, though. You don't get a job based on your credentials. So it doesn't... Well, I mean, that's not the defining factor right now. It's network, who you know, being in the right place, getting the right wording on resumes, which are filtered through AI. None of that is looking at competence. And realistically, you know, the way that it was prior to society getting even more nepotistic and focused on who you are, you know, who you were born as, you know, and connections and network. Even when it was a little more merit-based, everything was certification-based. You know, like, you took this course, you graduated from this college, you have, what do they call them? Not referrals. Like it, you know, if someone would speak up for you, like a previous job, that already filtered out, you know, the conspicuous proof of competence. You know, the what you can buy, the how you live your life stuff. So that's like at least 2 or 3 models of how the world worked old. Is that if you look rich, you must have been successful. Or, you know, come from good stock. I mean, it can go right back to the beginning. You know, if you look rich, you must come from an important family. But people well enough connected now, and you know, that don't matter. You know, no one's just gonna assume you're important. They'll look it up. So, Yeah, we drive better than average. I think getting me on Rantz is a flow state initiator. But yeah, the whole purpose of the luxury car, we'll say it that way, that most people are buying them for is such an outdated view on how the world works. And everyone trying to get you to take out a loan or buy a car will full well take advantage of that. You know, no one's going to correct you unless they have an incentive to. My incentive, I like destroying current systems. I don't know, chaos. What? A family? Yeah, you're not paying enough. I don't care if you're a family. Get out of here. Give me a financial incentive. Try to use the sympathy card on me. This thing, it's like, someone will look at that and think it's a taxi, but the guy will have to get out and point and be like, no, it says texture, not texture. See, I can make fun of anything. That's like my skill right now. That guy's paying even less. No. Yeah, you can spin the wheels in this thing. I should probably upgrade the brakes if I'm gonna be a menace. But yeah, the whole status signaling don't mean anything. There's a good student. Cool. Rich students. Status signal doesn't mean anything. No one cares about your status. They care about your connection with them. Connection or affiliation, not status. Status is something for... it matters in societies where it's assumed everyone starts from an equal point. So that's the signal you use to show that you're not equal, you're above. Nah. Don't work that way. Not anymore. Oh yeah, thanks for warning me about that camera. I don't want it to get dinged. I don't want to fly through there when those cars acting dumb either. I don't want to be part of someone else's dumb. Oh no, forklift road. Oh, I'm almost out of gas. Oh, tell me you're not going to the island. I wouldn't have taken the job if I knew you were going to the island. Yeah, and there's more expenses. Car don't steer great now. We got problem. Yeah, as soon as I stopped ranting, the flow state went away. Yeah, here we are. Driving dumb, running out of gas. We have to hold the steering wheel crooked to go straight. Oh, I got a repair forgiveness though, because the insurance company didn't see that. Yeah, I was going to talk about my personal psychology stuff last episode, and I pretty much just led perfectly into it. Trying to decide if saying things direct is the best way to say it. I mean, I guess the topic What's this? Efficient tip. Cool. I gotta go fix the car now. Let's turn this off real quick while I figure out where the gas station is. There's one here. I'll never drive to this one. Better not cost extra. What's this? It's just like a little race. No, it's just a dealership. It's got the race symbol on it. Unfortunately, I can't fix the car at the gas station. Wow, why have I forgotten all the controls? So the topic about personal psychology is why why I'm not influenced by any compulsion to status symbol whatsoever. Well, I'm saying whatsoever. I'm trying to be less indecisive, but that seems a little... It seems less... Damn it, I can't even talk. I shouldn't be so sure of that. It's dangerous to be sure of immunities to things that cost money or manipulate. The reason I don't do status symbol and stuff, it's simple. I never saw a situation where I could win. You know, like it's the same reason I don't really fall in with the need to belong. It's like growing up, that was so far out of the realm of possible. You know, I was worried about being tolerated. You know, something more basic than belonging. That seems overpriced. So, I don't know if you'd say I never got to that stage of development. That doesn't sound like the right word. That stage of on the hierarchy of like needs. I don't think that Maslow's hierarchy has definitely been questioned in recent years. Whether it's the actual... I'm really struggling for words today because I'm watching all my words, trying to be less indecisive, trying not to sneak likes and actuallys and all that in. They're still getting in there, and everything else is being overthought. It's not helpful. Yeah. We didn't end up with a car that ran out of gas on the side of the road, though. So we getting certain things done. Not what a multitask. The hierarchy of needs has enough truth to it to be used as a simplified understanding. I don't want to say model of reality, because it really isn't. There's a lot of things in psychology where I'd say it's harmful to accept the ideas as fact, but they still have functional purpose. I don't know the right way to describe this. It's kind of like how in school you're taught, you know, science on a really basic level. It's like, yeah, this is true enough for you to get by, but it's not actually true. It's that kind of thing. So if you put too much belief in some of these psychology things, it hurts your ability to function and to heal from past events. One of the examples I would use for that is the dorsal vagal, polyvagal theory of, like, it's not necessarily trauma recovery, but of how the nervous system functions. And a lot of that says that you can't learn or heal from trauma until you've found safety in safe people. Problem with that is anyone who's still actively in trauma is not going to feel safe until they're healing. So if you can't heal until you feel safe, and you can't feel safe until you heal, you're screwed. You're stuck. You're going to go to therapy for life and make no progress. And you're completely ignoring the history of humanity, where a high percentage of people never had safety at any point in their life. And what did that cost? $800. Damn it. I was driving with the traffic. Come on, man. But yeah, a lot of people had no safety at any point. You lived there. Multiple generations of people lived under oppression. And they found ways to be competent and to learn. Have skills. Enjoy time with their family. Have families. No, don't bullshit yourself that... Don't bullshit yourself that you can drive any better than me. Now, you can't get anywhere until you're healed enough or safe enough. It ain't how the world works. Fortunately, the way the brain does seem to work is that it clings on to models of how reality works and determines your behavior based on that. So if some authoritative person in psychology or research tells you that the brain works in a certain way and it can't do XYZ until certain circumstances are met, your brain will go, oh, okay, that person knows what they're talking about. They studied that. And then it'll introduce those limitations on you. It'll do its best to fit to the model. So, you literally have all the negatives of the incorrect theory of reality and all the negatives of the actual reality. There's going to be niche situations where you can introduce positive stuff. You know, a lot of great people were delusional. But it has to be the right delusions. Ones that don't sabotage you. And I don't know how you could... Yeah, that's very low damage. I don't know how you could deliberately introduce delusions that you know are delusional. It's... Knowing what I know, I'd say it's doable. Finding the motivation to do it would be the challenge. I mean, I'd say it's actually easily doable. If you can find a public figure, an influencer, or someone who's saying what you want to believe, and you just keep watching their content, you will start to induce belief in that. I mean, that's what the news does. Nobody trusts the television news, yet they all spout the same talking points. Because they don't know what else to watch, they watch it anyway. Said, oh, but I know it's bullshit. It's like, it's not what your behavior shows. So yeah, you can induce. Why does that not sound like the right word? You can induce delusions in yourself, as well as things you know aren't true. Doing it yourself without an external person telling you, I don't know if that would work. Because you'd need behavior that proves the delusion. And if you're behaving in a way in reality showing you that it's correct, then it's not much of a delusion. I think you're going for a different definition there. I mean, video games, I suppose, would be a method to do that. If something worked one way in a game versus reality, and you just kept playing the game and reinforcing this behavior equals that. I guess that's another way you could screw yourself. Maybe I shouldn't be playing all these driving games when I'm trying to keep my skills current for when I can drive for real. At least I'm not playing Forza. Oh, that would not be helpful. Okay. Not only would I be practicing driving on the wrong side of the road, but I'd also be practicing cars handling in a way they don't realistically handle. So. Beam's probably teaching me to be overcautious, if anything. To actually practice that behavior in game. But the model it's teaching me is that you can lose control quickly and unexpectedly. So what did this give me? Another 50? 75? How much more horsepower I got? And yeah, I crashed and then upgraded the engine again. What are you going to do about it? It's only a $200 crash. Doesn't even count. Oh. I wasn't expecting another 125 horsepower. That's excessive. Lateral G is 0.31. What? Does that not mean what I thought it meant? I thought that was cornering ability. There's no reason that would be changing all over the place. Is there? The weight went back up. When the weight went down, the lateral G-force went down. That it doesn't track in any coherent manner. I don't know. We're going to see if this thing's drivable at all right now. That's the concern. It's a dumb amount of power for a front-wheel drive, but it is heavy. What's the torque curve? All right, it has to rev up a bit to get the torque and the horsepower. That's why we're not just consistently spinning the tires. Do all cars rev up like that? All non-turbo. I know turbo before functions differently. I don't really know the dynamics of a supercharger. I have an assumption that it tracks like NA. You know, I don't know about generalization, but we can check here. What? Looks like the amount that it increases depends on the RPM. And it's different than a turbo that can be tuned for different parts of the range, but it's not just linear either. Why does this car still not feel fast? Yeah, that was a very close call. Uh-oh. This one need downshift. We're putting the suspension to work. I don't want to turn there. And we go through gears quickly. I think my gear shifting is going to be the point that's slowing the car down at this point. Yeah, I downshift and then I'm just immediately having to re-upshift. Uh-oh. No! Would have I gotten away with it if I had gone around him on the left? I don't know. It didn't actually affect my steering. I can just drive like that. It's fine. I don't know what that noise is. Scrape. It's not fine, is it? Don't. Well, we already hit it, so let's just drive it till we kill it. Yeah, the gear ratios don't feel great at this performance level. I don't really know what I'm talking about, unfortunately. I don't know anything about how manuals work. I just know the feel's off. Too much shifting. Why can't I rev this any higher? I upgraded the engine block twice. Should have given me more RPM range, right? Huh. Well, I don't know how that works either then. Yeah, I was practicing this course when I repainted the car. I learned the key to front-wheel drive cornering is a little bit of throttle. You don't want to be too little or too much. And going too quick doesn't help either. But you do want to be doing mild acceleration in the corner. So you want to brake a little more than necessary so you can get a little bit of speed to get the car to pull itself through the corner. You go too much, you're understeer, and you do too little, you're most likely going to understeer, but you can also oversteer. It depends on physics. See, like, we're understeering, but if we hit the gas, we don't hit the wall. That is the worst advice you could give someone. If you're headed for the wall, just push the gas down further. You have to know the context. And if you're going too quick anyway, it's not going to save you. Let's see. Just steering. You really have to not over throttle. People acting like the throttle. Yeah, it's like rear wheel drive's cool because the throttle helps you turn. It's like, yeah, that's not something that front wheel drive doesn't have. It's just different. Rear wheel drive fans just like the car being, you know, like a wild beast, like a horse. You know, it hits those old instincts we had of taming animals. You want something that's threatening to kick you off if you don't know how to control it. Front wheel drive's not like an animal, it just doesn't listen. It's more like a cat than a horse. It ignores you if you're not doing it right. A horse will throw you off. People don't want to be driving a car with cat power. They want horsepower. Mustang. Whatever the hell a Camaro is. A Challenger. You don't see anyone driving the Pontiac Swatter or Toyota Purr. Dodge Mouse Catcher. No. You want to be a cavalier, not a cat tamer. See, there isn't even a fancy word for that. People want something that's at like the edge of their control. I feel like you wrestle in control of the beast. I don't know, there's so many different ways I can say the same thing. I don't know if it gets funnier the more I go on, or if it gets stale. You want to be beating a dead cat. I'm just trying to keep my flow state. Was I even driving the course well? I mean, I didn't smash the car up, but there was nothing to hit, so that hardly an accomplishment. The only way I can get in a flow state is by talking, by the way. That's one of the ways I know that that I'm truly an extrovert, and my true calling is going to be in some type of talky job. So my lived experience didn't get any opportunity to be extroverted. Oh yeah, the whole psychology thing. How long ago was it I was talking about that? What the hell is this course? Where did this come from? This is an actual handling course. I don't think I've ever been over here. Did RLS add this? Or was it always there? Dope. Yeah, the whole feeling like I wasn't tolerated thing. The fact that it's gone on to present day, a lot of that is never putting it to the test with anyone in my peer group. It's just reinforced by school system, institutions like hospitals refusing me care. There is an uncomfortable truth with I guess life and relationships is abuse tends to follow victims, not abusers. Outside of any deliberate action being taken to cause those situations, we're talking about social cues. It means I've learned to, unfortunately, it's another type of status signaling. What type that works against you. You signal expectations, and people try to meet expectations, and it's all subconscious body language and even just how you word things, hence what I talk about with the uncertainty of my speech. That's a status signal. People think that you can buy your way out of, reframe that. People think status signals are just things you buy and you wear, aesthetic choices, products. A lot of it comes out in spoken and body language. And you're not buying yourself out of that. Trust me, I wanted. I was learning relationship dynamics and dating market stuff. A decade ago, he's going to start a business in that industry. Wealth doesn't guarantee you anything. Fancy car doesn't guarantee anything. Fancy house doesn't guarantee you anything. You show up and your body language says undesirable, and that is where you remain. And there's no gimmicky way to work on that. You need life experiences that challenge the undesirability narrative from a point where you're going to be signaling it in your, you hold yourself's a good way to say it. Carry yourself. That's the right word. Everything in life comes down to knowing the assumptions you're operating on and designing basically exposure therapy to challenge assumptions that need changing. Games are good for that. You control the environment. You know what you're getting into. One unfortunate thing is games are like the ultimate affirmation tool. Power fantasy. Everyone, every player is the chosen hero. Whatever. They're not so good for challenging things. Unfortunately, we are getting games these days like Disco Elysium that just mog on the main character. That cost 5 times as much as the other accident. What? But yeah, find a game that's gonna make fun of you, then that's where you roleplay the behaviors you don't want in yourself. You find a game that'll affirm you, that's where you roleplay the traits you do want. And you get a good enough quality RPG game, there'll be opportunity for both. Where you can roleplay in a way that shows negative results for the behavior you currently have or think you need to do, and then shows positive results when you switch it. Yeah. I think that guy smoked his clutch sitting there doing that. Probably stuck in reverse now, yeah. No, he's survived it. I don't know what this guy's excuse is. Let's break a window. Come on. You just insurance frauding that other guy now. Get out of here. Get out of here. This car's a troll. I don't know why I'm standing up for the Bel Air. I guess I'm just a bell end. He's camping over there. He's gonna hit my car now, isn't he? Yeah, my understanding of psychology is you got to deep dive into your models of the world, your expectations. 2 ways of saying the same thing. Figuring out the origin is helpful. Say that provides motivation when you can say that something was imposed or is representative of a situation that's no longer current. And then you have to design practice and exposure to challenge the model. There's no thinking way to change a model. Just to motivate you into testing it. It's called predictive programming. if you want to look it up. Like I was saying earlier, there's outdated models that people are attached to because they've found useful things in it. I'd say, you know, I understand that. So you just have to tell yourself that it's not actually a model. It's just a symbolic way of looking at the truth. I do very much like symbolism and archetypes. As long as you don't go the wrong direction with that. Like symbolism and stories, it's not how the world works, but we usually have models already built into us that closely track with certain fantasies and archetypes. So understanding those helps you decode and deconstruct your current understandings. I guess symbolism could be a good way to build a new model. Anything that's wrapped in stories and fiction seems to have more sticking power in the brain. That's how all instructive and moral lessons were transmitted, you know, before books and the written word were a thing, and in societies that moved too frequently to have, you know, full libraries worth of stuff. You encoded multiple lessons into a smaller number of stories. Like one example I've seen is, I don't remember if it was Three Blind Mice or something else about mice, but it was instructions on how to make candles, as well as like a moral lesson on sharing or something. It doesn't matter that I'm getting it wrong, but our brains are coded for stories. So you don't want to be the non-fiction only person who doesn't engage in entertainment, just as little as you want to be the person who's completely buried in entertainment. I'd say there's also a risk in just playing games as therapy practice when you don't have a deep understanding of how the game's story works and so on. Because the last thing you want to do is play something written by someone delusional who's imposing, you know, a political model of the world that's not true on you, you know, political or social, you know. You have to know the story well enough to know the purpose you're entering the game with. And my tactic is always to build caricature characters who are one specific trait, like just one note, full scale that. Because that way, you know, you're interacting with fantasy and not playing a full person in a real world. You're just looking at the extremes of how the world and people respond to something specific. And you have to know the game well enough to know that it's not going to do the opposite of what you want it to do. You go into the game with a bad behavior, you know, that you're trying to unlearn, and then the game's like, wow, you're amazing. That's not going to help you whatsoever. Man, you know, I feel like I say a lot of like stuff in these videos that could help people, and then it's just buried in a random multi-hour long Beam video. Like, no one's ever gonna see it. Oh well. Not my problem. In fact, it's nobody's problem. Saying stuff out loud helps me remember it, so my benefit. I don't know who I'm laughing at, but what do you think? This car, is this extra power in any way usable or useful? I feel like all this track is doing is working out the transmission and the tires. Gas mileage is definitely worse. Remember when I didn't have the dashboard working in this car? You know I would have want to run out of gas if I hadn't put the working one back in. Unfortunately for me, one of my psychology goals right now is to get that indecisive language out of my vocab, and there's no video game that will help with that. Why didn't I brake? That is the limit to RPGs, is you are picking predefined dialogue options. So I suppose Beam has become my challenge for this, because I'm actually speaking to a phantom audience. So I should do a strategy game like Age of Wonders. It forces me to commit to moves. And yeah, I want to use language that's just as... What's the word? Commitational is not a word. It's like... use a certain language as the certainty I'm taking actions with. I can't wait until we have AI good enough that I could just pull all the lesson type stuff out of this video, clip it together, make it more organized, just automate it, post it as its own thing without the car noises. Yeah, there's no one to ask other than me whether this horsepower is helpful or not, really. That really was indecisive language. The brakes are not good enough for this. I'm not paying attention to what speed the car is getting up to. So I'm overdoing the flow state. Flow state with something I'm not familiar with is very different than flow state that's something I'm practiced with. Flow state's not always a benefit. That's an interesting thing to learn. See, people say gaming's useless. You just gotta be mindful in your gaming. Mindfully perceptive, sometimes plan what you're intending to experience. But you learn things like that you're not even going in to test. Yeah, the brakes have faded. I just don't want to hit the wall and we're good. Okay. We're not setting a good lap time. Well, the brakes, that's proof enough that the car is it's needing more braking, which means the engine upgrade is getting us up to speed more frequently, and or to higher speed. See, there's a lesson in that. You gotta be open-minded in how you learn things. You can deduct it from other factors than the one you're directly trying to test. You can hit things randomly. That actually did pay well too. It was cool. It wasn't a bad time. I think that's actually better than we've done in this series, despite stopping to let the brakes cool for a couple seconds. Then we're also learning those wider tires still aren't necessary, even at 150 extra horsepower in the car. So what is the limiting factor here? Brakes, for a start. Body roll doesn't really feel like a problem. Suspension is soft and has too much travel, perhaps, but it's not a sway bar issue. It's my understanding. I wanted to go in third person for a corner, but I guess we'll find one eventually. Oh, I really need to get those I guesses out of my language. It's annoying. Fortunately for anybody listening, it'll be a lot easier for you to deprogram anything like that. Just get out into social settings. I'm stuck in a bed waiting for emergency health care. I was very productive a couple of days ago. I reached out to Attorney General, a bunch of lawyers, contact with one of the congressmen's office. Trying to be more assertive with the situation. It's all I can do. Anyone who happens into this and has no idea what the hell my situation is, being refused emergency care 4 years now at local hospitals, despite diagnosis of progressive brain injury caused by spinal injury. It's a discrimination issue because the injury was caused by genetic factors, not an accident. Maybe I should send him some of my Beam.NG driving and say, well, actually, it was caused by an automobile accident. Here's the proof. Perfect 4K footage of me crashing the car. Yes, sir, I was driving a niche 1990 Buick product at the time. It's alright, the hospital will just have a different excuse. You can't win. It's not a... See, that's one thing I've had to learn. It's not a matter of saying the right thing, having the perfect argument. It don't matter. It's a mixture of having severe cognitive issues, especially in a non-restful environment when I can't recover, having the body language that says I'm an easy victim, having an injury that isn't easy to fix. You know, that raises the floor or the ceiling on just the innate desire to help. It's not like I'm just refused care and kicked out the door either. I mean, I'm held and then billed ridiculous. I mean, the insurance more than me, but you know, defrauded for care not received. So, that was almost the exact same time on that lap. I don't know how we're that consistent unless we're in that flow state and it actually flowing. So, yeah, complicated medical situation, and I'm deliberately vague these videos because it's gonna become a whole thing. So I don't name names. I don't want to screw up future case. I have to reverse through that. Really, you're gonna save the game as soon as I drive, like, most embarrassingly? Thanks. At least getting knocked out of the flow state lets me see that the gas gauge is going on empty again. Yeah. I don't know. I got myself onto the personal talk and I can't get off of it. That's alright. I feel like the videos I've been putting out lately have been too goofy and childish, so having some more authenticity helps balance the scales again. I've seriously been thinking of marking my videos for children, where it was mostly just engine make funny noise and look at the accident. I don't have to worry about it. And again, it wasn't really a worry about it. It was more that might be a bigger audience. So, whatever. Not gonna go viral for my Beam videos. I don't want to be incentivized to sit at a computer talking to myself. I still hit the same time on that, even with the reverse to hit the... This game's basically just telling me over and over, like, hey, you could do better if you just didn't make that one error. That's not what I need to be hearing. Doing the same thing over and over, trying to get it perfect. That's not my methodology for life. Large commercial. Alright, that gas station isn't going to have anything for this car, is it? Did not mean to exit out of the map and almost crash into the wall. Let's drive over there. That's probably the cheapest gas station on the map. Say we're being clever, but we don't actually know that. What? I swear my GPS was just pointing this way. Now it's not. Now it is again. Man. This game's got all the realism in it, including indecisive GPS. Yeah, my psychology thing's pretty tragic. That's why I was hiding it. For myself for the longest time. As soon as I figured that out, I wanted to talk about it, and then it's like, do I really? It's like, yes, but also, no. So, yeah, you think you're special, you know, I'm like, I'm above, you know, status signaling and needing to belong. Yeah, I'm superior. And then it's like, well, actually, that mindset is not caused by actual superiority. Like, oh, And I'm not talking about reading that online either. I'm talking about like realizing that for myself. Like, that didn't come out in my AI therapy sessions. That was a personal realization. I love using AI for therapy to, as I said before, design experiences, gameplay in the future, reality, going out socializing. The things you learn in those sessions, you're not just reinforcing behaviors you want. You're learning different things through the exposure. So it's like the AI is the planning and thinking stage, but it's not the only one where realizations happen. The AI is just trying to understand your current perspective, alternative perspectives, and the why things developed. And it can't do all of it. So my lesson that I'm trying to say isn't that AI can't do everything. It's that if you're not willing to take any action or experimentation or exposure, you're only like 25% engaging with psychology. Yeah, I pulled that number out of a hat, but you're missing the majority, and you're not even going to get the passing grade on whatever you try to accomplish if you're just talking and thinking and pondering things. It's not useless. I mean, go practice the wrong thing if you don't have the understanding. You're just going to reinforce your own bullshit. But you can luck your way into being proven wrong if you only do the action and the exposure. You can't luck your way into correcting yourself without, or if you just do the thinking. So, there's plenty of other people in the world who will be happy to correct you. The thinking and planning is just being proactive and trying to do it yourself. I've decided I don't really like having the super upgraded engine in this car. I don't know. Maybe we'll not rip it out immediately. Let's be indecisive. I'm fine with it right now. This is a valid moment for being indecisive. Let's do some taxi work. See how it handles off the track. And that's exactly an example of where practicing and exposure helps. It's like, all right, I want to be less indecisive. Let's do this experience and try to train it. And then something like the engine with this car, like, okay, that is a valid thing to be indecisive about. We need to keep trying it before we come to a decision. So, the intensity of the change needed is one thing being tested, as well as how the change and the current behavior fits you. Yeah, that's how I would describe practice/exposure therapy. Is you're externalizing a behavior, especially if you use games, to see how the current behavior fits you, how it functions in practice. Does it get the outcome you believe it does? You try out a new behavior, see how it fits you, see how it functions. Does it get the results you want? And you're trying out the intensity of the change. Do you want to go all the way to something new? Hybrid. Maybe nothing. None of the things you've thought of work. You need something else. Go back to planning stage. Do Is this guy having me pick him up at my house? What? Man, that'd be creepy as hell. You an Uber driver and it says pick up a passenger and has your house marked. I stalled the car even with the stall assist. I'm in third gear. Oh. He is at my house. What the hell? Hey, what's worse? If you were an Uber driver, you want the passenger to be picked up at your house or dropped off at your house? I feel like picked up is worse. You're gonna be like, can you empty out your pockets real quick? Amongst other things that could possibly make it happen. If it's a destination, you could always suss out why you're going there and whether you're actually going to bring them there. But if they already been there, you got to figure out what happened. Beam.NG always got something new up its sleeve. Good for pivoting conversations to different topics. But yeah, my psychology. As tragic as my driving skill. Yeah, steering's busted again. We taking the big engine out. I can't be trusted with it. And there's definitely a limit to how much I can handle with my current level of brain damage. We've been trying to prove that one wrong for a while. Now we're just trying to figure out where the limit actually is. You can't simplify it to horsepower number, but still, a lot of horsepower is still gonna always be a lot of horsepower. Give me a big old station wagon SUV, maybe I handle 400. Who knows? We should figure it out. I should buy one. I hope this taxi ride paid for the bad driving. I picked them up at my house and now they don't want to get out of the car. They want to go somewhere else. Man, they changed their mind. You better be paying well. So I want to go fix my car. I better not want to go back to my house. That'd be even creepier. It's like someone, you pick them up at your house, they want to go somewhere, and then they want to go back to your house. Be like, what? Hey, drive me to my friends. I want to drop off this TV real quick. And then I gotta go back. And then, hey, I gotta drop off this computer. Let's go back to my friends. You just robbing me, using me as your driver? Oh, forklift. Out of the way. I shifted into neutral and I still wasn't going slow enough. What? Speaking of not going slow enough, he thought he was going too fast too. Yeah, I don't want to be shifting this car this much. Don't need to be going this fast. It ain't no sports car. No matter how much sport labeled parts we put in this, it's boatmobile. It's just encouraging me to be dumb. But yeah, it's crazy though watching all these people like the average new car. Yeah, I need to finish the thought before I hit the next one. How about that? All these people buying obscenely priced cars. They don't even know why they want it. You're listening to this one guy, he was buying like an $80,000 Camaro, and the dealer was like, "You can drive a manual, right?" And the guy's like, "No, I'm gonna learn." A brand new $80,000 car. You haven't even learned manual. How do you know if you like manual? You putting that kind of money in, you better know that you're gonna love everything about that car. Also, he obviously hadn't test driven it. There's just a lot of people going, I deserve the top trim level. That car looks cool and I want the most expensive one. That's as far as a lot of people go. Saying, I want that badge, that model, and it better be the nicest one. And they get more car than they know how to pay for or control. Speaking of driving the top trim level and not knowing how to drive it, it's alright. I can learn these lessons the hard way virtually, which makes it the medium way to learn it. Though I'm also learning it the easy way because I'm laughing at the YouTube videos, other people messing it up. I mean, that is the easy way, right? Is watch someone else make the same mistake. So, it doesn't get any easier than that. Oh no! $2,000 fine. No. No. Shifting into neutral driving. No. I mean, you'd never do that in a real manual because neutral's in the middle. It's not just a button away. $14 speed bonus. What, you wanted me to be even dumber? That can be arranged. Again, I seem to have lost, not gained. The insurance is renewed twice today. But the track paid for that. I don't know. When was the last time I actually looked at the amount? Was it before I bought the block? Wow. Got a 10% refund on my traffic ticket. Dope. Yeah, call the dough truck. I'm going back home. Yeah. So what if we put the block back but got the supercharger? That would probably make even more power than the block upgrade, wouldn't it? Call the dough truck. How do I pivot between childish and like deathly serious topics? And then sneak a giggle in there and a cringe AI song. You get a dash of everything around here. How long's this been recording? Hour and a half in. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. probably going to sell the Passat. What do we want to get into? Not another boat. I did say rear-wheel drive, and you can actually filter. I don't know if this filters part of RLS or if it's built into the game. I use things blur together eventually. I added the transmission. That's not what I meant to click on. Yeah, right. I could have just tuned up the Volkswagen if what I wanted was a small rear-wheel drive. I could play with the BX. Gulia base. It'd be a good pick if I hadn't driven it so much in my own time. Not the base model, though. That's the perfect example of a four-door that handles like a sports car, though. I'd say that's why the two-doors are getting out of the market. It's because the four-doors have moved up in the world. They got the handling if you can deal with the weight. Maybe we want a four-door sports sedan that's a little older. Not this body on frame one, though. It's too extra. It's too heavy. See, we're gonna pick apart everything and then buy nothing. That's how you should shop. It saves you money. If you're too critical about everything, you never end up spending your money. 92 R series. It's a good pick. I think the 2000s probably. See, that probably. There we go. The indecisive. The 2000s, the base model. See, there's the problem. There's valid indecisiveness that I don't know something, but I add in 2 indecisive bits of language. I think it's probably. It's like, no, when it's proper indecision, you add 1 modifier to your speech. When you actually do know something, you add 0 modifiers to your speech. We will see if me being conscious about that and bringing it up consistently through my videos actually has any effect. What is this thing? Diesel tuned Toyota Innova. Oh, that's heavy. I was about to say, late 90s, 180 horsepower. It's getting sporty, but then I saw that. It still might be fun to play with, though, regardless. Hybrid rear-wheel drive? It's also heavy, but it's not terrible. Could be a better wagon. Yeah, it's a private seller, though. He's not going to take a trade-in. It's been a while since we drove one of the I-Series. It was back in my first Beam videos. There's also this very heavy Mercedes. luxury, not performance, despite being in red. Don't let it fool you. This thing's got a front diffuser on it. And don't let it fool you either. It's all about the appearance packages and the paint these days. Classic truck. Is this a sports sedan? That would take a lot of money to convert to an engine that actually has respectable power. These cars get expensive. I mean, high power rear wheel drive vehicle. Why not a semi truck? Not very many cars on the market today. When there were over 100 the last time we played. PTSD maker, yeah. That's what they do. Drift Lexus. It's a Mario, and he's selling Luigi. Do I want to buy the school bus? That's very, very heavy. Our school bus is actually that bad. It's like crazy. Saw someone on YouTube complaining the other day about all the 5,000 pound plus vehicles tearing up the road. It's like, that don't seem so bad anymore. I mean, some of those electric trucks are now over 10,000 pounds. So. That's not a lot of horsepower for a drift Lexus. RLS is the biggest sedan, right? I want to test drive it. I don't want to pay $500 for breaking it. You see the two sides of man. I want to drive it hard, but I don't want to suffer the consequences when it breaks. Like we went in here, we weren't even actually shopping. We were just browsing to waste time, and now we're like, we could buy that. Is a school bus a status symbol? Like, yeah, I own the bus. I'm not sure that sends the message you want it to send, honestly. Oh, we could upgrade the exhaust to get a little more power out of this. Yeah, okay. So it was 301 with just the block upgrade. What is it with the block and the exhaust? I just don't want to ruin the luxury credentials with a loud exhaust, you know? It would be tragic. Tragedy. Hey, we haven't done any AI songs today. I'm too busy talking about myself. Oh, this episode's not complete without deliberate cringe. What? 2 horsepower for the exhaust. Oh, don't I feel dumb? How much did that affect anything else? Took 0.05 seconds off my acceleration. And it added weight. Even 3,900. Oh, what? That's even enough. Don't you be telling me it's not. Yeah, I can sell all that. I don't care about the climate controlling unit. It's niche, but I'm sick of looking at it. This car can be a 303 or a 403 or whatever the hell it wants to be. Have we done anything worth titling this episode today? Or is this just the psychology episode? Who's crashing their car up out there? It's my job. Let's not turn the car on until we have the job. And there it is. Alright. So this episode's been going on for a while. I'm forgetting my buttons. Every time it says tourist, I'm worried they're going to want me to either pick them up or drop them off at the top of that mountain. It's been a while since we've gone up there, but every time we do, it's pure chaos. I think that guy was turning left, so I should not have gone around him. Yeah, the tourists are in the film studio. I remember that weird spot in the sewer that we found in the other episode where they had like just a whole bunch of gold bars they wanted dropped off. We should find a truck that can actually do something with that. I'm a little paranoid about pulling out in front of someone now. Not paranoid enough, though. I don't know if I've seen it said before, but I've gotten the impression that 300 horsepower is the perfect number for a front-wheel drive vehicle. Yeah, I mean, the Type R's these days are 350. They got a lot of special engineering to keep the torque steer out of that. You ain't gonna find anything special in this car. No, your car's too wide. Come on. Oh, you don't want to hit the wall. Stupid Cadillac. Yeah, this feels like a good acceleration. Oh, the tourists want to go out to the oil refinery. Man, I'd be suspicious of any tourist who's like, yeah, we just want to get up and close and personal with the oil refinery. Why? What are you planning? It's like I do and I don't want to return to the psychology. It's like not even really any thank you for pulling out of the way, forklift. I need to upgrade those brakes. Yeah, the psychology, it's like it is tragic, you know, once you pull off the grandiosity, it's like, oh. Yeah. Psychology is a great way of turning different for a bad reason into I'm special. It's like, I'm more self-sufficient than, you know, so-and-so, or have secret knowledge. It's like, no. There's definitely topics I'm knowledgeable about that most people aren't, but the specialness goes away when you realize it's that you learned about that instead of learning about other things that are more commonly known. Yeah, it's not I have all the normal stuff and it's I got this instead. It's like it's niche. Niche isn't special. You know? Special implies an additive property. Niche is just rarely wanted. I don't know. That's not the right phrasing for that. That has more emotional weight than intended. Speaking of niche, making a dark green work out on a custom car. I don't know. I don't love it, but it's not as bad as it could have been. It's one of the harder colors, I'd say, to make work on a souped up car. Hey! The game lagged. And then it opened the phone and told me not to look at the phone. I didn't hit the button to open that. Yeah. I don't think there's any way to do psychology without making yourself really uncomfortable in the process. So you can be pulling down a lot of the things you used to affirm yourself with, as well as things you believed were safety nets. Just gotta push through. That's where you gotta make the commitment. You don't want to tear yourself down and then not build up. I don't know if that's actually possible to do that. I don't think it is. You're gonna build just by living, whether you intend to or not. Don't listen to me saying that there's a chance of getting stuck. I don't believe it. Just soundboarding ideas. But yeah, a lot of grandiosity is just I have a coping mechanism that nobody else had to develop. It's not something to be proud of or ashamed of, really. It just is. The cost-benefit analysis of leaving it alone. Because if you're coping for something that's not current or in a way that's no longer effective, even if the situation is current, you know, that's goodbye steering. I'd still say swerving the other way was going to be more destructive. Yeah, the steering's gone. I got him, busted it. Yeah, that's one of the problems with front-wheel drive, is you're more fragile, in a crash. At least it saved us from the speeding ticket. That's another thing to be careful with psychology, is always having a silver lining to everything. Because you're going to train yourself that if you can't see one, something's going to come for you and make it all better. All on its own. Be careful what lies you tell yourself. I've accidentally gotten... Uh-oh. Wait. I gotta drop the passengers off. No. No. Did I just not get paid because I got out of the car? I don't know. That would be pretty dumb. Let's find out. Ruined experience. What? And yeah, they got a free ride. What? Well, there's a bug for the RLS team. If anyone on the mod team has sat through my hours of ranting and seen that, you know how unlikely that seems. I'm doing a job with no steering. Well, no isn't the right amplifier. Compromised steering. Really? I have to pick you up in this parallel parking spot? No. I just did that to myself. Dope. Shouldn't have done that in a front-wheel drive car. Yeah, I thought this great paint job would provoke a little more cautiousness in me, because I don't want to see it ruined, but that model of reality has been proven false as well. Crash. Crash for cash. Uh-oh. We're drifting on our bumper. Oh, no. That's one way to do it. No. Oh, no. Oh. I hope that was a hubcap. Wait, this car don't have any hubcaps. Uh-oh. It was definitely a wheel of some type. Oh, no. Yeah, the pause button works. Where's the slow dough button? Just for curiosity's sake. I don't know what that would be under. Let's search it. Here we go. RB and menu. RB and menu. No. RB and... No. That should have worked, but it didn't. I didn't want that back wheel anyway. You know what? I was gonna say tow the car to the road, but let's be realistic here. That wasn't gonna save us. That thing bent real good. Engine still works. Somehow. Well, it actually does drive. Oh, that's impressive. This thing doing the twist. Yeah, that's not how that's supposed to open. Can I see that again, though? That's pretty funny. Car make funny motion. There, we're back to our under 8 audience. Let's play Guess the Repair Bill. This one might actually be worth more than the car, yeah. Just get up there. Oops. This video is 2 hours long. It's time to say goodbye. I guess we'll drive this next time, unless we get some other crazy idea in the meantime. You know me and my dumb ideas. Alright. Goodbye, everyone.